Hi guys, Tim here with One Handy Guy. I'm back with you, following up on our previous video, utilizing Langmuire's Crossfire Pro with the Fusion360. Just a beginner's tutorial trying to help explain some things. You'll remember in our last video we designed 5 different all the letter A, but you changed the parameters 5 different times to just kind of see what that cutout would look like. And this time we're going to show you the cutting of it and let you see exactly what it turned out and how it looks after the cuts were made. So let's get to the machine and we'll just kind of take it from there. I'm going to take you back to our screen. We're going to look here at the fire control center. I've already queued everything up and zeroed where I want, so I want to load up our first A. And let's see, we got to find where we put that thing. So we got A test 1 right here. That was our first original one. We're going to open that up. And that's our letter. We've already zeroed out. We're starting in this bottom left corner. And we're going to cut that out. And I'll pause it after I get them all cut out, set on the table where you can see the differences on what's going on. If you look over here to the left on the screen, you can see we've got a feed rate overwrite. We're going right now at 80 inches per minute. All right, that's our torch speed set right now, and we can alter it up here, and we might do that in our next video where we see what actually for what 1/8 inch with the razor weld makes the most sense. But for right now, we're going to leave it on 80. Our pierce delay, we can change that right here also. So we got several things we can change here that will make us able to do things. Just a couple other things in the fire control that I use all the time that I think are really good. So let's say I wanted to scale this up. Right now you see our settings are 3.27 inches by 3 inches. All right, I can scale that by simply clicking in that box. And let's say I wanted to go 1.50. So I wanted it 1.5 times bigger. All I got to do is click 1.5, hit generator, and notice my width and height changed to 4.9 and 4.5. So I can make those changes there. If I don't like what I did, all I got to do is come up and hit this orange button and it'll put it back to the way it originally was, the 3.7 by 3. All right. The other thing you can do is you can rotate it. So let's say we want to go 90 degrees. Just click 90, enter the value, hit generate, and it moves it 90 degrees. And you can swap that all the way around. You'll notice my corner is not really in a good spot. So I can also set my program origin right there to click down here, and it will start down in that point. Okay? So that's kind of a neat thing too. So we're going to go back to our original, and that's going to put us right back where we started. The other thing that's real handy about this program is the patterning. So let's say I wanted to do 9 of these. All I do, I've got rows going this way. I hope you can see my cursor going right to left. If I change that to 3 rows, right, and then we got, say I want to go 3 columns, I need a total of 9 parts. So all I'm going to come down is come down here to columns, change that to 3 columns, click OK, hit generate program, and now I've got 9 of them that I can cut out. And the computer sets them just the right amount apart. It's kind of a neat little setup. So we're not going to do any of that in this video. Let's just go back to our original, and we're going to cut this first one out. So we're all good. We're all set. My ground is attached. Everything should be ready to go. So let's just click start, and then I'm going to swap over and let you watch it cut. Okay, so that's our first one. Let's go back. Hit our screen where we can change back to what we're doing. We're going to move our head over just a little, reset it for our next cut. Tell you what, let's just go back to work 0, and then we're going to scoot over. And it looks like that's about where we want to start our cut on the next one, so we're going to 0 it out there. Now let's load our A-test 2. So with sideways compensation, we'll open that. All right, we're going to 0 it out, and let's try cutting it out this time. Alright, let's come back. We're going to go to our work 0. We're going to scoot it over so we're lined up for the next cut. I'm going to 0 that out. And let's load up our third test cut. So this is the sideways right. We're going to open that up, everything 0'd. Let's cut that out. Alright, go back to our work 0, scoot it over to the edge. We're going to 0 it there. Now we're going to try our fourth. So let's load A-test 4 factory default on the lead end. And we're going to see how that works. This time we're coming in from the outside. This ought to be an interesting cut. So let's go ahead and try that. That time I wanted you to kind of see the screen as it goes. I'm going to go back to 0. And we're going to come over and cut our fifth cut. We'll 0 it out right there. Load our fifth test cut. And this is where we change the cut height. Kind of anxious to see what a mess we end up with here. So I'm not even sure it's going to cut it through, but I'm going to start it and then we're going to try and swap to where you can see the video. Okay, I can tell you that one cut out, but it sure was ugly. So I'm going to pause the video for a minute and try and get them on the table where you can take a good look at them, and we'll see where we can go from there. So I'm just going to stop for a minute. Okay guys, I'm back with the finished results. I'm going to have to use my phone to record this just so you get a good picture. There's a couple things I want you to notice. Let's go look at what we cut out of first. So this is where we cut them all out, and I hope you can see that, but there's a This is where the sideways compensation came into play. And you're going to notice when we go look at the actual letter cutouts, this one actually has probably the crispest cut of all of them, and it's actually a little bigger because we cut on the outside of the letter as opposed to cutting on the line. So the kerf comes into play, and I found that the kerf on the plasma cutter, at least with my machine, is about a 1/16 of an inch, which is pretty significant. I don't know if you can see, hopefully you'll be able to see this, but this is a used cutting tip, and it doesn't look that distorted, but you can see there that's pretty large as far as the hole. The same thing here on the actual tip, how large that is. And if you compare that to like a new one where you've got a fairly tiny hole, I hope you can focus in and see that, but that pretty much determines the width of your kerf. So if you're making a lot of cuts, you're going to have to constantly be swapping these out, just so you know. The bigger the hole that gets in that tip, the wider your kerf's going to be. So that's where the lead-in comes to play. You'll get a lot more use out of your tips if you're utilizing that lead-in, but sometimes that's just not practical. So let's go look at the letters. You can see here I've got them all stood up, and see the difference in the actual height and size of some of these letters. It's because one of them is from sideways control, one is right on the line. And that difference of a 1/16 of an inch is pretty much your kerf. So let's look at these individually. This was number one, and you can see the divot because we plunged in to the letter right there on the line, so it's going to make a dent in on that letter, and the same thing on the inside cutout. This was the second letter, and we utilized that sideways compensation, and you don't see any divots along the edges. Okay. On this one, once again, we utilized that sideways or didn't utilize it, and we have a divot coming in. On this one, once again, there was no straight on the line. It came in from the side, and that's where we got our cleanest cut. This is the one that we changed to a 1/4 inch, and I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised that it cut as good as it did. I don't know if you can see the bevel's off. It's not a good straight cut, but it's pretty interesting that it even cut it at a 1/4 inch. I thought that was kind of neat. I figured it would not even cut it at that distance, but it did. So this just kind of lets you see some of the differences that are involved with some of those changes. I know they're minor, but they can make a big difference in your cut. So hopefully this helps. Let me turn back to this and get off my phone so you can see just a little bit better. It's hot in the shop. You guys have to just bear with me. It's about 105 degrees in here, so I'm sweating. Anyway, I hope this video helps. If you guys have got any questions or comments, just let me know. I appreciate it, and stay tuned for the next video.